December 9th, 2025, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There are agendas in the back, and if you haven't signed in, please do so. Okay, so the first we have our meeting minutes from November 25th. Did you have any questions, comments, or changes?
No, went through them, no edits that I suggest. So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the November 25th public meeting.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That. And then we have Julie, these aren't on the agenda, but we're doing them today, correct? Yeah. So we have meeting minutes
Yeah, it
to.
says non-public meeting minutes, yeah.
Oh, never mind. So we have 3 envelopes of non-public meeting minutes, and the first is RSA 91-A:32E, and we're keeping those minutes sealed, so I'll make a motion to do so.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the second is RSA 91-A:32A, and that is also remaining sealed, so I'll make a motion to keep those minutes sealed.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the third one is also RSA 91-A:32A, and we are also keeping those minutes sealed, so I will make a motion to do so.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Right. First is the Jackson pop-up demonstration report. And Bob, did you get your email with the presentation here?
I did. I haven't had a chance to thoroughly go through that, but I did get that.
Emily and Nick, would you like to give a rundown on this?
I'd like to come up.
Sure, you bet. Drag a
I
chair.
also
I'll be
did,
here.
I made a quick little, much quicker than the actual report is,
Oh,
a quick little summary
Awesome. Thank
sheet.
You want to pull up chairs and sit
Yeah.
at the table, you're more than welcome to.
Sure one for the file.
For the pile.
That's all good.
There's no Frank, yeah. I was like, is that?
Right, no Frank today, sorry.
So, we appreciate your time today. Thanks for having me here. I apologize that the report was a little later than we anticipated. Just we had my coworker Courtney, who was helping out with this, was out last week, and so we were catching up on a lot of stuff. But putting it all together, especially the data pieces of it. We've got, I think, one more slight change that'll come to the report. Just a little, like 1 or 2 sentences that's going to be added, and that'll be, I think, the final version, but it doesn't change anything else that's in it. So the little packet I just handed out is just kind of shrinking it all down. So I'll just run through this, and if you got any questions or anything, let me know. So as you all know, this kind of started back at the beginning of this year, in January, with discussions about the relocation of the Historical Society building and what to do with that intersection of Black Mountain Road and Main Street. I had worked with Emily, one of our TAC reps, the Historical Society, some of their consultants, Jim, the road agent, on kind of working on a project, trying to bring it together, all that stuff. What to do there, what the concerns were, all that. We were able to secure a grant to purchase some supplies, all the equipment to set things up, cones, all those things. The overall goals were to test out the idea of kind of teeing up the intersection, which was based off of some of those conceptual drawings from the Historical Society, and just to provide input on a possible project, possibly for a capital improvement project, things like that, if it, like a long-term project could be made possible. And we ended up planning for Pumpkin People season, which was the whole thing, but seemed to work all right. A lot of the data we collected, there were observations from volunteers, staff, NCC staff, just throughout the week to make sure everything looked good, and we had some of that extra comments about how it was operating. We had the online survey for community feedback, where we had, I think, 190 responses, which was really good. And 125 of those provided open response feedback, which was great. We also installed 3 traffic counters, one at each kind of approach. Two of which worked, one of which had a malfunction, so we kind of lost that data. And we had a backup plan for the counters using some TomTom GPS data, but we ended up not going through with that. So the idea was to tee up the intersection, kind of close off that roadway in front of the grammar school, and kind of think about, what a kind of park in front of there as public space, and installing visibility improvements along the delineators, the traffic posts, and kind of restriping crosswalks to improve pedestrian traffic. We did a lot of outreach, like I said. We had the survey, we had flyers, we got volunteers. And when we helped set up, we had volunteers, we had our NCC staff, we had police department was there to help out, which was really great. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So for traffic, the big picture, and there was some bigger graphs in the report, but both the data sets that we had saw major decreases in speed from week 1 to week 2, which was our test week, and then we had our demonstration week. So they were very successful in slowing traffic through the intersection. And we kind of found, that an intersection redesign, maybe not exactly this, but some sort of redesign would be an effective way to increase the safety for everyone going through that intersection, whether it's drivers, cyclists, or pedestrians. I was really happy with the survey results, a lot of good data, both, positive, negative, neutral. There was a lot there, a lot of good responses, a lot of good information. Overall, the proportion of people who felt, very safe during the demonstration increased by about 13% from how they felt, going through the intersection beforehand. And those feeling unsafe dropped from about 34% to 20%. So a lot more people felt safer going through the intersection than the current situation. Fact. Yeah. And only about 15% of respondents to the survey reported there were no safety issues at the intersection. And the overall concerns we saw were speed, sight lines, and then the pedestrian crossings. We did a lot of analysis of all the open response. That was kind of the big lift to try and put all that together. A lot of people cited safety of children, speed reduction, improved walkability as primary reasons for changing the intersection. Opponents emphasize cost, complexity, or satisfaction with the current, intersection layout, how it was working and how we had set it up. And then a lot of the neutral respondents kind of wanted to see more data or, more clarity on the final design. Because I think that's the big thing. It's a big what if. It's a lot of big question mark on kind of what it'll end up looking like. So bringing it all together, so we had a lot of data, we had a lot of observations, a big lift to install it, break it down, everything. We saw that it was a pretty big success at showing impact on speeds and creating a kind of sense of place and bringing people together. I was really happy with volunteer involvement. We had really robust survey and speed data. There was clear support from the community and clear impact on vehicle speeds. And it could be used as a possible blueprint for a redesign in the future if the town wanted to pursue it. And just as a reminder is that, and we reached out to survey respondents and people that we interacted with during it, is that we heard about the tight turning radius of how it was set up, and just wanted to remind everyone that it wouldn't look like that if the town decided to pursue a redesign. That's both from following town feedback and working with DOT, because it's a state route. It would not be that tight. It wouldn't look the same. It would function a little bit more efficiently than how we had to lay out. But sadly, we don't have the money for backhoes and pavers to do it ourselves. So for some next steps, I think there's some kind of low-hanging fruit. I know we received a lot of comments about the lilac bush
Yeah.
that's at the center island. So we figured landscaping improvements, maybe a medium-term thing of thinking about relocating the historical monument eventually if the intersection was worked on. Improving the crosswalks, restriping, using pedestrian signage, things like that to improve the visibility there. And, consider additional signage like rapid flashing beacons or speed feedback signs. Those are easy ways to both improve visibility and lower speeds for vehicles that are coming into the intersection. There's a few other, things to consider is, for both this project or other projects in town is that we have, North Country Council has a budget to do on-call engineering support. So if you have, this project or another project, we can do the overall conceptual design and get some numbers there for what it might cost the town. I think one thing that people were looking for was some, enforcement measures or, targeted designs that might work on this to address the concerns. In the report, I have funding opportunities that might fit as well that's federal, state, different pots of funding. And one thing that has been really highlighted over the past few months, especially with the 10-year plan being in a certain situation fiscally, that DOT has stressed that, if there are projects like this or other projects in town that might need a redesign, to coordinate with them because they might be able to work things like this into their regular pavement preservation. So, for 16A and B, that's, state routes and that was recently done down in Hopkinton where they teed off an intersection kind of like this just as they kind of just did a little bit of longer term planning and they were able to incorporate all that. So I think that's probably the best option and cheapest option is to work with DOT and see if changes on some scale might work. And then thinking about, capital planning or master planning of, the strategic level, because I think a lot of people are thinking about this intersection. So it might be good to just kind of put it on the docket for consideration in the future. But that's a quick.
Anything to add there?
So I think, again, now we have this report. Julie's already posted, we're gonna get the most current version up on the Highway Department website, so folks can go to that. We'll put a blurb out through e-news. I'll send this to some of the key players. So there's the data that then folks can then use for the master planning process. And then maybe a little lilac trim in the spring.
Yeah, a little lilac trim.
So,
I did look through the report, and one of the things I noticed, of course, on the comment side, there was a common theme that people were concerned about the dollars that this was going to cost, and that we have enough going on right now, and we definitely feel that. And I think we want to state again, like we did before when this was going on, that this is not a project that we're going to be put in next year's budget. It's not something that we even have on a 2 to 3 year lookout period. It's something that we did as we did the project as a gathering of data to find out how we can make this better, and if it were to be done in the next 5 to 10 years, maybe then, but at least we know what we can do to improve things on a short-term basis without spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to get that part out.
I think that's absolutely key. These things are long-term projects,
For sure.
and going through some of the, grant application process, the more you can show that this isn't a brand new idea. Here's a report, we studied it, maybe it was, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, that it's been some thoughtful thinking going into it, so
Yeah.
it's all part of the toolbox to.
Yeah, so I definitely wanted to put that out there. There were a couple comments about the roundabout, which were interesting because yes, roundabouts definitely can be beneficial in the right area. I personally, my comment about sort of giggling about a roundabout in that area was more about, I can't imagine having a roundabout with a grammar school next to it. Just my forethought, but obviously I'm not an expert in engineering of roundabouts, but there's a lot of thought that would go into this at the time. So I really respect all the data that's come out of it and the funding possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, we were able to
Etc.
take advantage of not having to pay for
Absolutely.
any of this. Thank you very much
Yes.
to ARP and the county councils.
Comments, Bob?
Well, I think the respondents on the survey, and we talked about that a little bit last time, the number of respondents was how many?
190?
190.
Yeah, and we don't know what town they lived in or how many times each person responded, so I had some concerns about the quality of the data, number one. And I felt like if you really want to know what people in the town actually thought about that, I would encourage you to find a way to put it on the agenda for the annual meeting in some way, shape, or form. End of meeting article looking for people to register their support for or against something like that. When there's not money involved, can be done, as you know. The thing that I've heard from a couple people is I had no idea there was a survey out there. I don't know how it got out and why I didn't get it, and I didn't have answers for them, number one. And number two, I just feel that the data, I would disagree with the statement that the data shows a need for a redesign. I'm not looking at any data that shows a need for a redesign to me, so that came up too, and I'm looking at the big picture traffic data there, and I'm not seeing it. And I was also surprised that, you felt like there was a fair amount of support from the survey, because that's not what I heard from people at all. And I still, so I was not convinced there was a need from a safety standpoint for a road that hasn't seen any kind of an accident in the last over 35 years, whether it's pedestrians or cars. And I still am looking at the same outline here on this road that concerns me about the safety of trucks and large vehicles trying to navigate that on that right-hand turn. And I'm also concerned, at this point in time, our downhill ski area is up at the end of that road, and this could conceivably represent a huge bottleneck for people trying to get up there to ski, especially on weekends, Christmas week. Those are busy times of the year. I think if you really want to understand where that road is when it comes to traffic, get your traffic counters out there during Christmas week, and I think that would really, so between the concerns about the safety of fire trucks with tankers, building trucks that are trying to get up that way, I think there are some things you can do to improve the quality of your report.
Okay. I think, so, yeah, we don't have, I think we might be able to go back and check to be able to check non-resident versus resident, but it was only 5% reported that they were non-residents. So we're gonna take that, we just have to take it how it is. I think it's up to you if you'd like to put it on your annual meeting agenda. I think it's a good thing to put it directly out there. Our outreach in a lot of our projects is imperfect.
Sure.
We tried to get it to the town. We tried to, all the adjacent businesses and everyone in the vicinity. But it's always imperfect.
Was there a reason, did you discuss sending paper surveys to post office boxes? And if you did, why did you decide not to do that?
I don't think we had
We didn't.
discussions on that.
Yeah.
That's a tough one because not everyone that has a PO box is necessarily a voter registered.
Trying to reach everybody is
No,
a
there's
tough
no
one.
perfect
It is
way about it.
fascinating to
I know.
try, to accommodate everybody's the way they get information. I think we will work on putting together something though for the town meeting. And you were saying that a warrant article with no money, right? That if there's no money,
Well,
you
at the end, anybody can make a motion, yeah,
can
at
just
that
make,
annual
so
meeting
maybe I'll
to
talk with,
support or be against
because that would be
some
the time
sort
to get
of a
another
road
bit of data.
rework. Yeah,
Okay,
sure would.
okay.
And we can put up traffic counters in the winter, it'll just be radar counters, so we can do that.
Yeah.
Figure out spots to do it at the intersection, if you're interested in that.
I just,
Well,
I feel like
in trying to kind of visualize what it would be like on a Saturday at 4 PM of a busy ski day and looking at the overhead of that proposed road change, I mean, if you've got 10 cars backed up that are trying to get to the covered bridge, that's gonna back up past the school.
Mhm.
And there's a stop sign there and those, so, and then they would need to turn left to get to the covered bridge, and so it just,
Well,
I-
being at that intersection many times during that week, it was really interesting to see. That's not a place I've hung out at for a long time in recent years. And it's very busy. I mean, just contractors alone, those days that I was there, I was thinking, okay, this is an interesting dynamic here. To see the ski area letting out, that would be something that you
Yeah.
can see about.
Yeah.
that and the fact that it's late, it's dark later now compared to when we did this.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I wonder if the winter
Yeah.
months and how lighting is, you know, obviously
Yeah.
it's pretty good down there.
So,
And I will say is that, so the turning radius was I think the first thing that we talked with Jim about.
yeah.
And then we
That's
talked
always
to Chief Petty about that as well. And like I said, is that this would look very different. It would be a lot easier to turn that way. It would not be as
Yeah.
basically a right angle. So that was one of our main concerns, because even before we had actually set it up, we wanted to make sure that for all emergency services, for the road vehicles and the fire vehicles, we wanted to make sure that would work, because we didn't want to set up a roadblock that would be, cause issues.
Right.
But yeah, we can. I mean, I think right now this is just, this is like, was brought up by just some concerns to
Yeah.
Emily and
School,
through,
historical
because
society. We gotta look
this
at
is
this
not-
as like, oh, well, here's an opportunity.
I mean, I think your point about it being a traffic safety, specific with accidents that's 100% fair, and I think on point. I think this is more of a thinking of the grammar school and the beautification efforts of the historical society. It kind of goes hand in hand as an improvement, not necessarily of serious fatalities or accidents, things like that. So it hits a few boxes, but it's not specifically for death or serious injury prevention.
yeah.
So, which we get that.
Right.
Yeah, this is kind of a different, bicycle pedestrian mobility, not quite specifically focused on accident prevention. But we can also provide more. We can dig down more into the data if you'd like, and I can provide that to select board, because we've got the traffic data. The charts that I provided in this little presentation and in the report are very crunched down because I think like 50 pages of
Yeah.
like every 15-minute interval of the entire 2 weeks. So I can look into that more if you'd like, and kind of do an addendum and see what we can find, because we can talk directional data, we can talk time of day, things like that. We can splice it apart if you'd like that. So
All right. Take a look at it further and see if we.
Yeah.
yeah, happy to follow up as needed.
Perfect.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much for
Thanks
this.
for putting it
Really
in
appreciate it.
to
Yeah.
the report, I appreciate that.
Thanks.
All right. The next agenda item is the Black Mountain Ski Area Fireworks Permit, which has been on our agenda for a couple of months now. So we have this in front of us, and I just want to make sure that before this is firmed up, that we're talking about the number of shells, the number of, all of the logistics here are not changing, correct? The proximity is not changing
The
to
proximity is
where
not
it's.
changing, yeah, the only thing that may change, the total quantity wouldn't change, but we may change, you see how they're organized, they're kind of all in the grand finale. We may spread them out, you'll see that they just kind of threw that in there as they plan the show.
Is there a time of how long this is going to be? How long the show is going to be?
It's gonna be similar to last year, it's a similar amount of shells, so I can find out specifically, but the shells will change.
That they're 3-inch shell size,
Yeah,
so that's
but
not going to change?
No, whatever's written there is not, is where it's at. Again, it just may, it's sort of organized in the Excel spreadsheet right now as like the pre-start, the middle, and the grand finale. You may see some things moved around there.
I don't know if you have any questions about that.
No, I haven't seen this, but,
And then this is where compared to the previous? Is
Yes.
this the same place as the previous?
This is the second place. So the first place was to the right of the triple, and the second place was further away to the left of the triple for the May 3rd ones, and that's where we'll be doing it. This is the May 3rd location.
And so this is going to be in the winter, so snow will be on the ground. And how does that affect your, the terrain with all the fallout?
The debris,
Mhm.
we're gonna just pick up all debris. It'll be very obvious if there is any,
Mhm.
because it's all white and debris is
Right,
black.
that's how I was
Yep,
thinking,
so we'll
so-
go quickly on it. And that is further away from the property line as well, that secondary location. So it's definitely further on the other side.
so, this inventory packing sheet shows that, unless I'm reading it wrong, all the shells are either gonna be 2.5 or 3-inch. There won't be any 4-inch and there won't be any 5-inch. You had 5 inches at the May, and you had, and some 4, so they're all, it looks like you've got about 320
Total shells, yeah.
total shells.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep, and all that goes through the purchasing to the safe fireworks standpoint, so
Yeah.
that's what's been ordered and purchased and just separate, so that's not gonna change. Again, the only thing change is the distribution over the length of the show.
Yeah.
And move some more forward and try to even it out. It felt a little heavy on the back end to me.
What's the time?
I was going to ask that myself.
Because they're scheduled to show at a.
Yeah, I can't remember. We haven't picked a time. I believe it was 8 o'clock last year.
I think the permit says.
It says,
8.
yeah, it says 8
Yeah.
o'clock.
Okay, 8
It
o'clock.
does, and-
Yep, that's what we'll stick with then, 8.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll go with 8. Plenty dark by then.
Well, we have a fireworks ordinance, and this is the 3rd time Black has submitted an application. There's some things about this application that I actually like a little bit better. They're not doing anything they're not permitted to do. And so I'm prepared to make a motion when you're prepared to hear it.
Go.
I'll make a motion that we approve the fireworks show scheduled for 8 o'clock on New Year's Eve. That includes nothing but 2.5 and 3-inch shells, and or 2.5 and 3-inch shells for Black Mountain.
I will second that. All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
And this is a matter of public record also, that this was part of the settlement agreement to sign off on litigation with Black Mountain.
Correct.
And we're gonna do a follow-up as well and do an after report and come back and say, look, this is what we thought worked well, this is what we didn't think worked well, this is what we propose if we were gonna do anything different the next time and what that might look like. We're gonna be watching it very closely, so.
All right.
Good to know.
The next is Black Mountain Ski Area extended liquor license request for Alpine Cabin. And this actually is also part of the agreement. And I'm going to read this into the minutes because it includes also a few other of the newer areas that you are applying for an extended liquor license for. So it will be in place once those areas are built and functioning. So the town of Jackson, New Hampshire acknowledges Alex LaHood, Director of Base Area Operations of Black Mountain Ski Area, which is under new ownership, DBA Alpine Resources Corporation, located at 373 Black Mountain Road in Jackson, New Hampshire. Excuse me. The town has no issue with Black Mountain Ski Area and wish to give permission for their business to serve liquor, wine, and beer at the base lodge, the back deck, as well as the Alpine Cabin at the midpoint of the mountain and the deck of the Alpine Cabin, and also the areas outlined in the recent service extension applications, including the Bull Wheel Bar, the Sugar Shack, the base area new deck and lawn, the Platter Lift Shack, and the Alpine Cabin lawn. And this has already been approved as part of the agreement. All right. 2025 Municipal Data Certificate for DRA. This is from Jason Paul, our assessment with Northtown Associates, our assessor, and this is to approve the DRA 2025 Municipal Assessments Data Certificate.
Can we go back to 4C?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that that's permission that's already been signed off on. We weren't here today to make a motion or a second and take another vote. This was also part of the settlement agreement, as Barbara said. I know that up to this point, though, there's been such a frenetic construction project going on up there, and I just want to make sure that because some of these new construction shacks and waffle houses and sugar shacks and things like that really are they all up right now? And so I guess my question is for Kevin, and some of these came to us with building permit applications that didn't mention anything about alcohol, were more or less snacks and candy bars and things like that. And so I want to make sure that that's all been worked out and understood and agreed to. And I also wanted to just make a statement that the Alpine Cabin is something that we went on record last winter as permitting and approving for liquor license application to the state. And that didn't happen, and what ended up happening last winter is alcohol was served up there all winter long without a license to do so. And so I'm pleased that it looks like this winter that's not going to happen. And I also just want to make sure that the permits necessary for approval, now that we have this signed permit, go to the state and get that final approval for them, and then that's on record, and we expect, as things typically happen between us and the Bureau of Liquor Enforcement, that we're notified that they have done that. And so I would expect that approval process to be complete before alcohol is served in any of those locations. And so, Kevin, I know there was some back and forth about the difference between selling candy bars and alcohol in these buildings. Has everything been rectified to your satisfaction with those new constructed sheds and bars and waffle houses and things?
I think two of the permits we were asking just for more information, because we were kind of surprised that all of a sudden they were selling alcohol there. So I asked for a update just on, just explain, what they were gonna serve at these two locations. And I got no response, and basically I sent it to Chris. And then Chris would ask me again, and I wrote a quick email back to him, and I didn't get a response. So I guess we left it to our town attorney to send a letter and ask for a little update on those two locations. And actually, the one location, the Bull Wheel Bar, that's all done. That's pretty straightforward. It's a deck on the back of the double chair. The Alpine cabin, that's been all done. That's all good. All up to code and everything else. The so-called Sugar Shack that just has basically footings and sonotubes coming out of the ground. It hasn't been built yet. The expansion on the deck at the main ski area, that's all complete. That's all good there. I haven't been inside the what's the other one there?
The platter lift, Jack?
Yeah, the platter lift. Yeah, I haven't checked that out yet, but I think that's all ready to go, if I'm correct. I think they changed some windows and doors, if I'm correct, right? I just haven't actually walked in there or went in the building yet, so.
We're very close. The Alpine Cabin, just to go on the record, Bob, I disagree with your statement. The Alpine Cabin was not licensed last year, and I disagree with your statement that alcohol was served without a license. That's not the conclusion that we've come to. And I would caution you on making those statements. That's the very type of attitude that brought the board into the litigation in the first place. So I would adamantly disagree with your statement there. Second, the Alpine Cabin we have come to an agreement with the Liquor Commission. It is fully licensed. We have that, and we served liquor at it last weekend. The Bull Wheel Bar is nearing completion as well, and that has been inspected by the Liquor Department. So has the Sugar Shack, and so has the back deck and those items. As far as the expansion and clarification on the building permit language, we had indicated originally that food and beverage would be sold. I would agree that we did not specifically indicate that alcohol would be sold, but I would remind you firmly that this board does not regulate liquor. That is up to the state agency. However, we have amended that application to include the word alcohol in it per your request. So I believe we're where we need to be now. Unless you want to add anything, Chris?
Well, I want to add one thing real quickly, and this is part of the agreement, and I think it just goes to hopefully put closure on this, that in the agreement, it is said that Black Mountain agrees to notify the town and provide a copy of any liquor license or extension of service obtained by Black Mountain upon your receipt. So when you get all these certifications and everything, we will get them back, which will tie to the extended liquor license that we have granted, and that will make sure that everyone is in compliance. We're going to definitely agree that that's part of the agreement, and hopefully that satisfies things. The building permits and things are
Great to work with
separate,
Kevin, and
and
we're plowing away on those things. Anything you wanted to add, Chris?
Yep.
good.
Yeah,
All
thanks
right.
for the opportunity to get that clarification in there.
All right, DRA certification, this is an annual form that Jason has to have our approval for, so it's just that he is filing his paperwork with the DRA certification.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2025 municipal assessment data certificate.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sign. Right. Lien search contract per Karen Burton. So this is a contract that we sign for any liens that we have to file, and it is a contract with an independent contractor with a confidentiality agreement. So Karen, when she needs to file a lien, she has an outside search firm that she uses. And this is just the confidentiality agreement, so I will make a motion to approve the contract with, well, where is it? I know it's right up here. Sander Searches for confidentiality agreement.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, since our tax bills went out, we can make some transfers here. So we have trustees of the trust funds, funding and withdrawal. I am not going to read all these, but they will be attached as an addendum to our minutes. So on December 9th, the Jackson Select Board authorizes the transfer of $668,500 approved at the 2025 town meeting to be deposited into the capital reserve funds and the expendable trust funds per the warrant articles listed below. The total is, like I said, $668,500, all according to the warrant articles. And I will make a motion to approve those transfers.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's gotta be the longest
Yeah,
warrant article funding approval
Yeah.
request.
I'm not done.
In a while.
Okay, and then on the side of the withdrawal from the trust funds, I'm going to read the bold amounts and the fund numbers, and the details will also be in an addendum to the minutes. So the Jackson Select Board is requesting the following withdrawals from the trust funds as indicated below. $61,898.68 from the new historic town hall building maintenance and repair ETF. $1,991.05 from the solid waste CRF Capital Reserve Fund 0044. $9,650 from the transfer station site building / recycling ETF is 0028. $14,109.75 from the town office building maintenance and repairs ETF 0079. $2,205 from the old library repairs ETF 0069. $11,134.94 from the highway garage building maintenance and repairs ETF 0079. $551 from the Wentworth Wildcat / Jackson Falls Trust Fund 0029, and $130,000 from the bridge repair ETF 0034, and that is the payment to Austin Construction.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's that. All right. Thank you. All right, the next is for an abatement for our map R13 lot 1. This is $161 to Aaron B. Freckleton, trustee of the Athena Revocable Trust. And it's a abatement for an overpayment for taxes for current use. So please abate $161 to Aaron B. Freckleton, trustee of Athena Revocable Trust. The assessor did not enter the current use application until after the first bill went out. The owner paid the first bill amount in full, and the second bill is the refund amount due of $161.
I'll make a motion that we approve the abatement refund of $161.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There you go.
Roll.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next is the Wentworth Golf Club, DBA the AG Wentworth LLC, has made application to the Division of Enforcement for a Sports Recreation Facility liquor license under the provisions of RSA 178:22. This is at 153 Main Street, Jackson, New Hampshire. So this is, the Liquor Commission hereby provides the City Town of Jackson with notice of the application and informs you that you may submit data, views, comments, or other materials or evidence with respect to the potential issuance of the liquor license. This information will be taken into consideration by the Division of of Enforcement and Licensing prior to its recommendation to the Liquor Commission for approval or denial. So Wentworth is the clubhouse.
Mhm.
Any concerns, questions?
No.
Right, I will make a motion to approve this.
It's
So we're
not
not really
approval.
making a motion,
No,
we're
it's
just
just
making
if
sure
you
there's no
For
comments.
the liquor
Yeah.
commissioner, but
Okay. So no comments. All right. All right, the next is a letter for the Dana Place Association, but I'm gonna put that on hold because I need to have more information from Burr Phillips. I wanna make sure that we're addressing this to all the affected associations and HOAs, because there may be more than one HOA that's involved in this.
Were
So-
we expecting him here today?
No,
or
we knew he
just-
couldn't come, so,
Okay.
and it's just sort of
All right.
forming, kind of learning more as we go.
Well, I'll
So-
make a motion to table the Dana Place Association letter discussion to a later meeting.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then, what's there? Okay. And then, Bob, I'm handing this off to you. This is what Chief Pearlie was speaking about a little earlier about the changes that are needed for gambling. And this needs to go to the planning board. So I'm passing the buck. So it's changes to town meeting laws in 2025, and this has to do with the gambling laws. So this needs to, we need to specifically opt out of this.
Mhm.
So, planning board, it's more or less asking if for you to follow if the planning board is aware of this and if they plan on submitting an ordinance.
yeah, it would have to be updated in the ordinance zoning.
Okay. Are you planning on letting Bill know about this and
I-
having him get educated? I
I
just,
can if you wanted to.
I'm not passing the buck. However, I'm on call a lot of those Thursday
Okay.
nights, and so there's always a
Yes.
chance that I am not gonna make that meeting.
Okay.
So I'm gonna hand this off to you anyway, so you have this copy of it, and
Yeah.
Julie, you have the
I
the
do.
soft
I have
copy.
a copy.
So
I will
Yeah.
send it to Bill.
send it
Thank
to Bill, David
David,
Campbell,
yeah.
and copy Bob.
I will.
Okay. That's pretty well. All right.
And send a copy to Scott too.
Scott, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go, the
Okay.
three officer kind of folks there. All right, fire station construction updates. I know you had something, and then Emily, did you want to update on?
I thought we could start with Emily. You want to pass along any updates on funding or colors or?
I can pass along the color updates. No, we decided we were not gonna pass those along. Yes, so in terms of, just want to let you all know that Tim Scott has sort of been heading up the fundraising effort, and this is again what was promised as part of we went before the voters that some of the costs would be all set. And so we have been, over the past couple of months, meeting directly with folks who might be interested. Our goal is, we're looking at $275,000 to raise. We've already have nearly 100,000 raised through that sort of quiet phase of it. We have in hand now $56,500 with the Firefighters Association. So those are all nonprofit donations. This week, a mailing's going to go out to all the Jackson postal patrons. So get that in, and any ways that people would like to support before the end of the year, that would be great. Also, been fortunate, a number of the contractors have been making in-kind donations.
Nice.
We have approximately $23,000 value as being gifted in kind. We've so far confirmed we've already received $5,875 in donations. So that's been really great. Pursuing some other folks, have some other conversations out there. But yeah, we're down to, picked all the finished colors, and right down to the toilet partitions in the men's
Wow.
So yeah, it's weekly meetings every Tuesday.
And we're trying to be really specific about what those donations are being used for.
Yes.
And so of the $23,550 to date, we, that have been earmarked, there's 3,000 going to the interior signage and 20,550 going to the lockers. And there's more, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we went over. this
Yeah,
morning.
I mean, like, so actually more specifically, funding to offset the radio tower.
Right.
There was just a generous gift made for the decon room. So
That's
that
why I was wondering
really-
if you had restricted versus designated funds.
Yeah, I mean, we're
Tracking
just, we have the conversation and let folks, you know, if there's something that really resonates with them for personal reasons, or, you know, folks have just said, yep, we want to support here, you know, an open-ended thing. But yeah, to Bob's point, there is sort of a ranked priority list,
Yeah.
and then we let folks choose from that, so we can, yeah, appreciate that.
Lots of generosity.
Yes, yeah, it's really good to see. I mean, folks have been appreciative of that, so.
It's fun to see the progress on the building too.
Yes, yep, so,
Yeah, and other than that, I mean, operationally, it just continues. There's a lot going on right now on the interior.
mhm.
There's some stuff we're waiting for to finish up the exterior
Mhm.
stuff that's not quite complete, but we're really a little bit ahead of schedule on the interior
Yeah,
progress.
that's it. That's what Shane was wondering.
No reason to think that we won't meet that final goal, which was what, end of February or?
Yeah, yeah, and that's gonna be something that Jay and Pete are working on in terms of how the move happens. You know, being really thoughtful in terms of things, you know, when they actually will be responding out of that fire station. There's a lot that
Yeah.
happened beforehand, so,
Great.
so, yeah.
So it may not happen until after the town meeting, but it may.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be all around town meeting.
Yeah.
Trying to
Yeah, I'm scheduling trainings in there.
There
coordinate.
you go.
We've got one in
vacations
April
and-
with Homeland Security. I just was
Nice.
setting up another one in June, so that might push it.
I have not lots, but a few people wondering what we can use the old fire station for, and I
Well-
said, no dibs until next year.
So that's a good point. People are asking me that too at the post office. And I said, keep those ideas in your mind. You will
Absolutely.
have an opportunity to join committee if you want,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Is that a good answer?
absolutely, good answer, yeah, yes.
Yeah, I almost think that after the annual meeting, once the move has
That's it,
run its course, that, you know, forming a committee of interested parties,
yeah.
we've heard everything from tear it down to,
Mhm.
you know.
Put the dump store there,
Yeah,
Check.
so we've
Yeah.
heard all those, yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
So,
So-
all right,
lots of
great.
possibilities.
Yeah.
And I would like to say then also, the work we've done on the master plan
Well,
has identified a common denominator around a lot of different departments in town and including the library, that shortage is
Storage,
primarily due to storage space.
so that's a big thing, yeah.
So if we could figure that out, and maybe that's a low-cost way. I mean, anything we want to do in there that's going to be, you know, an absolute repurposing of that space is going to cost money,
Mhm.
and we know that. So
Yeah. Well, and that's where I think it dovetails perfectly into the master planning process,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so that'll be good.
right.
So, okay,
great.
Thanks.
Great update
Thanks for
on the
coming.
fundraising.
Appreciate it.
Town hall building move updates, anything, Stephen?
Only that we recently removed the paneling, 1970s paneling that was covering up the original plaster with the intent to restore that plaster, but we found that it's pretty well shot underneath, so we're trying to plan the next step to move ahead.
Plan B. And are you opening partially
Yes, occasionally on weekends.
Nice.
There's an art exhibit on the second floor.
Great. I don't have any updates on the proposed Route 16 signage with DOT, so that's on hold and still pending. And then Eastfield Road also is going to be put on hold until Burr can be here because we have some other questions on that side of things. So that's continued. And no short-term rental, conditional use permits to approve. Kevin, anything on building permits here?
No, there's a lot of them, but it's all pretty straightforward.
All right. Any public comments? Tish?
I had a comment, a couple of questions. One is the new tax rate. A lot of people seem confused as to whether that somehow includes the cost of the fire department. Is that in there yet? People aren't sure.
I think that goes into the next year's budget process at how much we will be covering for the cost of the bond.
Yeah, well, a lot of people think it went up a lot because of the fire department. So I wonder if there's a way for you to make that clear.
I definitely want to do that during the budget meetings because I think that's, it's definitely going to become clear because it'll be showing how much principal and interest we'll be covering for the fire station bond and the debt. But I also want to make the comment ahead of time that we're really going to be more mindful than we probably have been in many, many years of the budget this year. And reducing costs, not just holding steady, but how to reduce costs. We've been really, fortunate. I say that with a capital F. We're fortunate on how much we've put into our roads and the structure of our town, and we have a wonderful town, but we've really got to be mindful of what things we can and can't do. We also made concessions a couple years ago for, not putting money into capital reserve funds in lieu of doing other things like the salt shed. So, what other things can we do to hold off on spending and maybe, cut back on what our allocations are, putting things off a year or two and working, again, in coordination with the master plan too, of what's urgent, what doesn't need to be done so we can keep our budget as low as possible.
I have a second thing, and with regards to, back in this early summer, I did come in with a suggestion of like a noise complaint coming from Black Mountain. And it appears that that's kind of done, but at that time, you had said that we're gonna have a meeting toward the end of the year before the town meeting to discuss noise and fireworks.
Right.
But that didn't happen.
Well,
So-
we have our meetings coming up for our ordinances, which are the ordinance public hearing. The first one is on January 6th. So the noise ordinance, we will be discussing modifications to that. Right now, the way the noise ordinance is, it's sort of wrapped into our extended liquor license when we talk about tents and things. So we're looking at rewriting that and making it more clear and not just revolved around an alcoholic event. The other thing is in the agreement that we made with Black Mountain, they have decibel requirements up to a certain amount at the property line. So we did take into account the noise ordinances and the timing of their the music. So there was nothing in that prior to that agreement, so that was incorporated into the agreement.
Do you have any idea what the decibel was before? I mean, I don't
No, I
know
don't.
what that means. in
We
terms of-
so
Is it gonna be
like
the
on our
same,
tent.
less, or-
On our tent ordinance, it's 90 decibels from, I believe, 90 decibels from the source of the music,
Yeah.
or amplification, I should say. And the service agreement, the agreement that we signed is 80 decibels from the exterior line of property. So, and it has to be done within the hours of the town ordinance as well.
Which
But
is
I think
8:30 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, is that 10:30 at night?
I can't
7
remember
days
the
a week.
exact times, I'm so sorry, I don't know what the times are, I don't remember those offhand, but,
We ended ours, we agreed to end a half hour earlier than the town ordinance actually, so our.
and when do
our
your
previous
lifts
one
close?
is- Lifts close at 4 most days, and then sometimes in the spring they'll stay till 7 on select days.
Mhm. So, there's always an opportunity to, when we go over these ordinances, if the select board is putting forth new ordinances, then we will be discussing those at the meetings, and then if there are any petitioned warrant articles that come through, those would be presented prior to that, so they would be discussed at public hearings as well.
So noise ordinances are town issued. It doesn't tie to the state, like fireworks or whatever.
Correct.
It's what the town decides.
Correct.
Good.
So what was agreed to with Black Mountain, if there's an ordinance that people of the town decide they do not want any fireworks, how does that affect Black Mountain?
If the town votes to not have any fireworks or change the fireworks ordinance that would make it illegal, basically, for Black Mountain to have fireworks, then that is not, their agreement would be subject to the new ordinance if that were put into place.
Specifically to the fireworks, we agreed that if there was a town change, yeah.
Correct.
But to the noise, we believe we're pre-existing use, so.
And,
Could you
yeah,
clarify?
no, I'm not going back and forth here,
We can
okay?
chat after if you want.
Yeah, anything that is an ordinance in the town must be Black Mountain must follow the town ordinance. We'll
Okay,
just
so
leave
if
it,
the
any
people-
business
If
must,
the town agreed to 40 decibels,
right,
just
Whatever that means.
whatever that means, if the town agreed to lower the decibels to 40,
correct,
you agreed to 80 to Black, they're not grandfathered to 80 decibels.
that's correct.
Thank you.
Any other public comments?
I would public comment. Chris Meyer, I represent Black Mountain. The town, we took and still take the position that the noise ordinance that Black has been around since 1938 and has been running this year since 1938 and would be grandfathered or pre-existing non-conforming from any noise ordinance. That doesn't apply to fireworks, but to the extent a new noise ordinance came in that reduced the amount of decibels, we took the position that that wouldn't apply to them. We agreed to the decibel limit in the settlement agreement, even though we took the position that Black Mountain was a pre-existing non-conforming use. That was a concession to the selectmen and to the town. But we didn't, and Black Mountain did not give up the opportunity to say that they're pre-existing non-conforming as to noise and new noise ordinances.
Stephen?
That brings up a topic that just bothered me a little through this whole process. That Black Mountain is a non-conforming use in a rural residential area. Non-conforming structures and non-conforming use. My understanding has always been that if there's a change in that non-conforming situation, that would have to be a change presented to the ZBA. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I would like a clarification on that. Because they claim in 1957 they had snowmaking, just because they had some carved up snowmaking system in 1957, it would seem to me that doesn't give them the right to expand that snowmaking to the nth degree, to whatever extent they want, to drain as much water as they want from that pond right now that is just about empty, thereby unable to fill a fire truck because of their use. So I don't want to get into the weeds with this, but I would like a clarification of the expansion of non-conforming use and structures. And I don't expect you to have the answer to
Right.
that, but someone needs to drill down on that for me, please.
Thank you, I'll look into that. expansion of nonconformities. Excuse me for just a second. Okay, any other comments? All right, our upcoming meetings are December 23rd, 3:30, regular select board meeting. Tuesday, December 30th, Bartlett Jackson Ambulance Budget Meeting, which is at 5:15 at the Bartlett Town Office. Tuesday, January 6th is the regular select board meeting at 3:30, and then following will be the 4 p.m. Town Ordinance Public Hearing. And that's where any, there are some certain deadlines for town ordinance changes and submissions. So we'll be posting those through e-news as well. Tuesday, January 20th, 3:30, regular select board meeting, and the first budget hearing following that at 4 o'clock. And then Tuesday, February 3rd, 3:30, regular select board meeting, 4 o'clock p.m., second budget hearing, and petition warrant articles, final due date. They can be submitted beforehand, but that is the final due date. I don't think we have a non-public tonight, so I will make a motion to adjourn at 4:36.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all for coming.